Bloodborne. This is one of the greatest video games to come out in the last decade. Bloodborne Kart, on the other hand, is one of the funniest video games ever made. Wait, it's not called that anymore? Last year, I think it was, I played Bloodborne PSX, which was a surprisingly faithful recreation of the opening acts of Bloodborne as though it were made for the PS1. This game, on the other hand, is a reimagining of that game, except it's now a kart racer and the name got changed to Nightmare Kart. At least I'm pretty sure it was originally called Bloodborne Kart. A number of character names have also been altered from their original counterparts, which I don't know if that's for copyright reasons or humor, but let's be serious, we all know what this is. I've actually been looking forward to this dumbass game for a while now. Maybe I should have done it on Halloween instead, but hey, Nosferatu comes out tomorrow, which is Christmas Day, so yeah, I don't feel bad about it. I feel like Souls-like meets racing game could be an interesting experiment to explore for game developers in the future. I wouldn't exactly describe this game as such beyond the surface level, but it definitely planted a seed that I might never get out of my head. Will I do something about it? No, probably not. In this game, you are a good hunter, making your way through the land of legally distinct Yharnam trying to solve the mysteries of the hunter's dream. Along the way, you meet all kinds of spooky weirdos who all want to drink your blood, but not before engaging in a funky death race through familiar Bloodborne locale. But sometimes you end up in a death battle where you use these wacky weapons to destroy the other racers. Team deathmatch, where you have to pray that your AI teammates actually pull their weight, and don't just sit there pissing themselves. You got some capture the flag business and even straight up boss fights where you're driving around the map shooting at the boss with gun pickups. Many liberties have been taken to ensure that it actually makes sense in the context of a racing game, although it hits on all the aesthetic notes you could hope for, even down to the cleric beast coming down and making those wretched screeching noises. And even some of the music, even though it's supposed to be upbeat and speedy sounding, has some moments hidden in there that call to mind the soundtrack from the original game, which you wouldn't think that would happen given how dramatically different the tone is between the two. Although it has dumpy ass PS1 graphics, it's a very high effort thing. Whether it's the new music, the new writing and lore additions, or even voice acting. I almost forgot it wasn't official some of the time. Although the source material is a decidedly dark and ghoulish game full of witchy blood stuff, this interpretation of said game is very comical, and if you only heard the sound effects without looking at the screen, you might have thought this was Crash Nitro Kart or some shit. The general premise is similar to Bloodborne's, albeit recontextualized to make it fit the gameplay better, but the juxtaposition between that premise and the gameplay of driving around a motorcycle and blowing people up like some kind of Twisted Metal type shit is just inherently funny. And it gets even better because as you go, you unlock more weapons and carts, all of which have their own stats, and you gotta weigh your options very carefully. You can unlock this sick hamster wheel thing with a Gatling gun and a big piggy. I love this guy. Earthworm Jim 3D could take a note from this game. That's how you ride a pig. The funniest part is definitely the fight with Nicholas, host of the Nightmare, who wears a cage on his head. Isn't that a little bit on the nose? When you confront him, he runs away like a Looney Tunes character and you have to chase him down, and even though you're on a vehicle, you cannot catch up to him. For people who have never played Bloodborne, they probably think this is just a shitpost type joke thing made specifically for this game, but it's actually shockingly close to what happens. It's a surprisingly feature-complete game as well. For one thing, my controller works right out of the gate, which, according to my memory of Bloodborne PSX, was not the case there. So that's already an improvement. There is a huge, meticulous list of graphical features that can be turned on or off, so if you're not about the scan lines or affine texture warping and whatnot, you can disable them individually, which is pretty considerate. You know, a lot of people don't really buy the scan lines thing. They find it patronizing, like, I know those aren't real scan lines, you can't fool me. It even has an achievements list, which is pretty impressive. Gotta get that PSN score up before the new year. I'm trying to get a jump on my New Year's resolution, which is to play more video games. One thing that pisses me off a little bit is that there doesn't seem to be an autosave feature, and I actually lost some progress because I went back to the main menu without saving to check out some of the options. If I had to guess why that's the case, it's probably because autosave was a very rare feature in the PS1 days, so it's just trying to be authentic. I can definitely understand that. But man, fuck you. Nightmare Kart is anything but a nightmare. It's as fun as it is funny. It's a goofy love letter to what's already a phenomenal game, and definitely worth the wait. And if you like Bloodborne at all, I'm sure you'll get some enjoyment out of this game. And with that, we are finally at the end of the marathon, because tomorrow is Christmas Day, and I got one more present for you. There's no hint this time, because I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I certainly hope that the game I have picked out will truly be a surprise for all. Feel free to guess what it is anyway, because I really can't stop you, but otherwise, stay tuned, and Merry Christmas Eve, cousin!